to give thanks. We just have one more interview scheduled, but it's really time to acknowledge the people who have made today happen. Not just the speakers, not just the friends or the family or the collaborators or the producers or the enablers or the presenters, but my team at nartaki.com, my team who have worked so hard and meticulously hand-holding many of today's featured individuals, and my editor Surya Rao, the wonderful communications producer Rama Bharadwaj, but holding it all together from the technical back end was Masoom Parmar. Now, what does Masoom have as a connect to Astad? Well, but here is this young man on the brink of another career move. He goes to Wales to do his master's in arts management and dance. We want to wish him the best. But did you know that he and Astad come from the same village in Gujarat? Hi, Masoom. The village is called Navsari, right?
Navsari, yes.
Okay, now I'm supposed to be exhausted today, but I think it's life and makeup and lots of years of professional experience, but you're looking worn out.
Well, just been a full day of posting everybody's videos and editing. So.
Yes, I know. But tell me, Masoom, you told me that as a young boy of 7, you watched Astad perform chewing gum, his piece in Mumbai. What was the effect on you?
I was honestly mesmerized because at that point of time I was learning Bharatnatyam. I had just started learning Bharatnatyam, and this was something that I had never seen before. So I was totally in awe of him, and my dad said that he made sure that I watched him because he said there is much more than what we are exposed to back at the town. So yeah.
So would you say that having a Parsi mother and seeing this amazing Parsi man dance, would that have been maybe one of the main moments for you to decide that it was okay to be a dancer?
It definitely was a definitive moment, I think. And also, I feel Astad made it very normal for boys from small town to dance. Because I'm talking of the 90s when I grew up, it was still not okay. Because till today in Navsari, I'm only one of the 2 male Bharatnatyam dancers that come from this small town. So he definitely made it normal. He definitely made it mainstream for us. Definitely, yeah.
And how far is his ancestral home from yours?
2 lanes away, actually. And we discovered that very recently, actually, in 2018. Astad and I met, and he watched me perform at Pegda. And after that, I went up to him and I spoke to him. And then over the years, even through Box, when we presented his boundaries work, we sort of spoke and we connected and we discussed, and we just found out that we are like 2 lanes away from each other.
So as a dancer, Masoom, and of course you're 2 generations younger than Astad, what do you think that your generation of dancers, or you particularly, have learned from just watching Astad?
Of course,
reading about him.
Yeah, I've managed to watch a few of his productions, and something that I've always admired is the stillness in motion that he has. There's a certain quality. It's a very interior experience, I think, and as you see the range of his work over the years, from whatever little I've seen rather, it was more about him giving us an experience of the work rather than trying to be intellectual or talking to the audience, trying to educate the audience. A lot of what contemporary dancers seem to do these days, you take political agendas, you try to educate the audience. For him, it was more about, we know what he is feeling, and he made us feel that. I think that was the most important learning for me. And in fact, I was talking to him about it because I am been working on a poetry, and we discussed about it. And I told him that I see a lot of stillness in that poetry, and I was asking him on points as to how to translate that stillness into motion, so that when I'm moving, I'm still very still inside, and how to convey that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that he's not here, it must be somebody, you'll have to find somebody else now, you know?
I don't think there's anyone else like him. There definitely, he was generous to a fault. And while we were talking of this, I remember I joked saying I'll probably wear an angarak and just twirl around like he does. And he said, yeah, sure. Why don't you take one of mine? And for somebody, I mean, he hasn't not known me as well as he probably knows the other dancers that he's performed with and trained. But for somebody to just offer it, I think it speaks of his generosity and his greatness.
Is there a moment before we leave you? Is there a moment on stage that you remember, any one performance?
This was the latest Inco Center performance, actually.
Same, but different.
Same but different. And I very clearly remember that there was this music that is going at a very high tempo, and they're fabulous musicians, and he's moving slowly in his characteristic whirling with all the cranes flying up.
Yes.
And it actually reminded me, there's a very beautiful poetry by Kabir which says, Ud jayega hans akela, the swan will fly alone. And there was these multiple cranes coming to sort of become this one figure. It was quite a mesmerizing moment for me.
Wow.
I will cherish it, yeah.
Thank you so much, Masoom, because we have to thank you for the whole day, for holding our hands and making sure that every speaker got recorded and heard. And I want to also put on record that Surya Rao, thank you so much for being there and editing and also firefighting when some of the things didn't work and covering up some of the glitches. And of course, once again, Rama Bharadwaj is the rockstar team at Rugby. And for anybody who's watched this entire day, I think they must know that the two of you especially, and now they've seen you, the only person they haven't seen is Surya, but they'll have to wait for another occasion. But thank you, Masoom. Thank you so much that you were here on Astad's birthday, and thank you for your thoughts.
My pleasure.